Call to order the Town of Sevastopol Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, December 21 at 7 o'clock. Roll call, please, to establish quorum.
Supervisor John Stavenus.
Here.
Supervisor Dan Wolfel.
Here.
Chairman Leo Zipperer.
Here.
Supervisor Chuck Tice.
Here.
Supervisor Tony Hayne.
Here.
We do have a quorum, and I'll ask that you rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I see we have three of us that believe in Christmas, or that we know there's a Santa. The other guys will get the message, you can do it next year, right? As is our custom, the next item would be the meet and greet, public participation. Linda, start her off.
Linda Waite, Clerk Treasurer for the Town of Sevastopol, residing on Bluff Court.
Tony Haynes, Supervisor, Town of Sevastopol, Matthew Road.
Chuck Tice, Supervisor, Bay Shore Drive.
Leo Zipper, the Chairman of the Town of Sevastopol on Bay Shore Drive.
Dan Wolfel, Supervisor.
You don't
Check.
live in the town?
I live on Park Road.
John Stavenus, Supervisor, Whitefish Bay Road.
And then we'll go to Mike. Mike is,
Mike Carr, I live on 5039 County P in the town of Sevastopol.
where are you going next, Lenny?
Brett Timmy,
Gene?
Brett Timmy, Town Building Inspector, Langcombe Road.
John and Dick Baldwin, Everly Road.
Jean Tice, Bay Shore Drive.
Very good. Thank you for coming out. Do we have any public participation? Anyone want to speak of something that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, then a motion would be to adopt the agenda.
Move that we adopt the agenda for
And there's a second.
December 22, or 21.
I'll second that with a, if we could move
Already have.
11A up.
Item A, Mike Carr,
Yes,
under new business.
correct.
Any other concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, why don't we go right down to the new business with Mike Carr. It's the application for conditional use permit at 5039 County Trunk Highway P, I believe, to establish home business, operate a marine construction business. John, go ahead.
We had a plan commission meeting on Thursday, and we went over a few things, but Mike had a conditional use permit in 2013, and it had expired, so he's renewing it. And there's been no zoning changes, so it still fits with the comprehensive plan to promote home business. And he also, you bought an extra 20 acres around you, something like that? So there'll be plenty of surrounding acreage that'll still remain farmland. The Plan Commission would support it, and if you open your packet for Mike Carr and go to the last part where the Door County Planning set 7, it'd be pages 2 of 3 and 3 of 3, continued over. We approved it with those 7 stipulations, or we recommend to the town board with those 7 stipulations.
Where's that, before all the maps, or?
Way in the back, the very last part of the,
It's right after Door County Planning Department memo, second page.
Page 2.
page 2, and then it continues over onto page 3.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, Mike, did you want to expound on your proposal?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to say, I'm sorry to make you go through this all again. The winter that, I wanted to do this, we had that cold winter, and it was impossible to get anything done. The other problem was that I had enough to buy my existing shop, and that fell through. And so the impetus to do it, and the funds to do it fell through, and I got busy with my work, and I just didn't have the time to do it. We were anticipating doing it that winter, but it just wasn't possible to do any construction in that winter, so. So now, you know, it's always been my intent to do this, so now that, hopefully we'll get a nicer winter here, get this project done. It will be done within the next 6 months, one way or the other, so, either later this winter or this spring. Also, the 20 acres I bought, it's immediately adjacent to this, it goes to the east, so now, and that's actually a conservation easement, so that will never be developed, except for one lot there. George Evenson, he has one way to turn his house into one lot, and then there's another lot there. So out of the, I think it's 25 acres, you know, there's 2 parcels there. The rest is conservation easement, will never be developed. So, the rest of the unique character of the area there, it's just gonna be that building there, probably about it. So altogether, I have 40 acres right around there surrounding it. And, I don't know, all the conditions they put on there, I have no problems with any of those, they all make sense to me, so. Totally acceptable, everything. Want to get it built, would be a blessing.
All right, John, that the recommendation is for approval?
Yes.
Did you make that as a motion?
I recommend to the RPC in support of the petition from Mike Carr.
Okay, okay, let's get a second on it first.
Second.
All right, where are the conditions?
The conditions? You didn't find them?
I'm still looking.
Starting right here.
Are you,
Yeah, okay, I got it.
they start,
Some on the next page.
they
I'd
carry
like to
over.
call Mike's attention to especially the condition 1 about the vegetative screening. Irregardless of whether it goes in your conditional use permit or not, the town does have a zoning ordinance that states that any outside storage should be screened from the visibility of the road and the neighboring properties. So, just so that you know that,
Possibly use a berm in conjunction with the vegetative screening, that would be okay.
the berm and trees, bushes, whatever. If you read the town's ordinance, it does stipulate that you cannot use tarps and such to make your screening because they themselves turn into a nuisance. So,
We'd like to add one thing, you know, this, I am not gonna be doing this forever.
and we understand that it takes time for trees and things to grow too. So they get in and they're planted, they're taken care of. If they die, you replace them. It may take 5 years for a bush to grow up high enough to cover a dump truck or a backhoe, but so be it. At least they're there and they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Was there anyone speaking in opposition at your planning committee?
No, there wasn't.
Any questions of the board?
I guess the nice thing, if you look at the position of the building, he put it as far away from the creek as you could get, still be on his property,
Okay.
so.
Linda, you have the 7 requirements?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Good luck. And we all know you have nothing better to do today than stay for the rest of the meeting.
Trying to get home to get well. That's cold for a month.
Okay,
His,
thanks.
his meeting won't be till February 4th, because you're gonna be out of town in January, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
thank you. Approval of the minutes, Board of Supervisors, 11/23 and 12/4/2015.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Financial report, November. The fund balance, the budget versus actual, and the transaction list by date. Questions or comments?
Got one question on the bills. I haven't seen anything from Euclid well drilling yet. Have we not received that bill?
Correct, we have not received anything from Euclid.
Might be a donation, Chuck.
Yeah.
No, huh?
I called them again tonight and asked them where it was, and she said she sent it out, but she was going to email a new one.
Haven't received anything yet.
Or have I? So,
No further questions, I need a motion to approve.
move that we approve the financial report for November 2015.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oral committee reports and committee commission minutes. In your packet were the minutes of the cable channel committee, the plan commission, and actually two from the plan commission. And the Door County Tourism Zone. Questions or comments? Otherwise, we'll accept and place them on file. License and permits are next. First page would be the November town-issued permits. Do we have a billing as well, or not?
Yes, if you look to the left of your microphones, the independent inspections billing
Okay.
recap is there.
All right. Yeah, nice. Very well. Question or comment? Pending continuing business? The Van Billinger matter, notice of claim? Linda, you're pretty familiar with this. So when did we first receive a claim, do you remember?
I believe it was in October, and then we did, was it in
It was
October?
October.
Okay. And then, of course, we had time to respond to that, pending our attorney's attention to the matter and rural insurance attention to the matter. So you have there in front of you Attorney Nesbitt's response of December 7th, along with the formal notice on the claim.
No comment from them, I take it.
Nothing as yet. They would probably respond directly to our attorney.
For those of you not familiar with the situation, Van Billinger's own property on the west side of the Clark Lake Dam, we have easement to the dam, and we had to fence it off to keep any trespassers off. For insurance purposes, at first we tried to make it because they own property on the other side. we tried to make it convenient for them to get to the other side. Unfortunately, as they had a key that allowed them access to the west side, suddenly the gate remained open. So on the advice of the attorney and noticed by the attorney, the key was taken away, no longer available. And in return, we got slapped with a $100,000 lawsuit for a claim for, a notice of claim for that dollar amount. We turned it into the insurance company and they have denied the claim. We had a meeting most recently with our attorney in closed session to see what we could do about it. And because we don't have anything in return, we can't really talk about it tonight, but it was an offer to purchase, help me with the acreage, it's less than,
2.2, I believe. 2 small triangles
okay.
coming up to.
Anyway, when we inquired as
sorry,
to
wait.
what,
Point
Oh.
2.2.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Point
Point two.
2.2.
so when we did want to know why they needed access, they indicated that they go over there to have their picnics. And we thought maybe they could bring the table back on their own property a bit. Because they are the owners, they filed a claim. So next month, we'll have an update on that as far as what our attorney told us to do and what we did. And maybe by then, we'll have a response from them. The Muscat property on 4257 across from the mill is next. Dan has offered to get that all fixed up.
I just about remodeled it. It's starting to look,
You got her done, huh?
yeah. Basically, December 4th, we sent a second request, registered mail, to the property owners on the tax records, asking for another status update, this time asking for some feedback relative to the inspection of the property and the fuel tank, and asking for some response by January 15 of 2016. As of yet, we have heard nothing back. So we have no, we did include in this letter a sampling of pictures showing the condition of the structures, which, as most of you know, is falling apart. So, but at this point in time, we've heard nothing back from them, so we're on hold. So,
Have we ever heard from any of them?
we did a few years back. We immediately got a letter from an attorney telling us to
Find out?
go fly away. But if this doesn't work, if nothing else, I'll call them and just see if anybody will talk to us and see what happens. So,
All right. The town road improvement program, prior to that, I guess we should go to the letter that was sent to us by the Door County Scenic Byways Council in regard to the condition of the buildings and eyesore at the junction. They refer to that as mid-junction. 4257 across from the mill. The corner of 4257 does not reflect the description. In fact, the tourist's first byway experience is of billboard signs and blighted abandoned buildings. We wish that it could be said that our primary distractions are some billboards and signs. A few communication towers, an occasional blighted building or abandoned vehicle, and some structures that are out of character, not blending into the area in which they are sited, but it is not. As a town board, you can make a substantial difference. Participate in the byway program, which we are. And I believe we're going to use that to further enhance our effort to clean up that corner. So the next meeting you go to, Chuck, and you have some money, bring back money.
You know, I read this letter, and I have to ask where she was 18 months ago or 24 months ago when I started. I mean, was it a surprise to her that these buildings existed and where we put the kiosk? I mean, was she sleeping?
When the
or-
Door County Coastal Byways program started, the town starts at Highway Double T, which is a half mile further down the road or so.
Right.
That's where it was supposed to start. But through the program, you go through and you do an assessment on distractions, blight, billboards and signs, and just garbage all over the place. The Coastal Byways organization decided that they would not include that half mile, that there was too much distraction in that area, including the Muscat property, miscellaneous billboards, and several other buildings that didn't fit in their categories of what they wanted people to see. So they decided that it would start at the stoplights and go from there. It would still be our effort to try to get the remainder of the town into the program, but with these things still there, we can't do it. So, and it is still the entrance to our town, it is the entrance to the byway, so it still would pay to clean it up. So that's where we're working toward, anything we could do as the coastal byway. If we can find grant dollars or anything else that would help alleviate this situation, we would apply for them and work with the town, the county, or anybody else that we can to take care of it.
So the Byway Council, you're on that committee, correct?
Right?
And you guys don't have any money to throw at that to help clean it up?
Not right now. The funding has dried up, so.
Because to me, it would seem that they're the, that your council are the ones that are really worried about it. Cough up the dough.
It's been there for years.
They would if they had it. And
I
I said,
mean-
we're working on,
Yeah.
we're looking at different grants, anything we could bring into the picture to help do it.
So are there any other
But-
towns that they cut half out of?
Pardon?
Are there any other towns that they cut half out of? I mean, they split us in half almost.
No. Everybody else continued through, mainly because the byway has to be a continuous unit.
Well, right, so why did they
So,
cut half of our
Well,
town
that
off?
was the beginning, they could cut it off. If it was the end, they'd cut it off also. And to those people, it made more sense to start right at the stoplight where you got the beginning and the end come right together at that spot, so.
I mean, this just bothers me. I mean, it's like, this is no surprise. It was here. They knew about it. I mean, we had an issue with trying to figure out a place to put the kiosk without having to spend twice as much money, which we weren't provided. You know, I guess the good news is
It's just an effort, if this letter would help to put pressure on anybody else,
That's fine.
to help clean this mess up.
All right, I'll use it accordingly.
Money off.
It started off as a letter of complaint and eventually worked its way to supporting our efforts, so we can give it as an atta girl.
All right.
Town Road Improvement Program 2016-17, you can see that we were awarded $18,840.99, would be used perhaps next year, initially anyway, for the asphalt on West Dunn Road from Reynolds down to Bay Shore. Town, nope, one more. Local officials meeting, I went to one December 3. Talked about the new detour that's going to be happening. Egg Harbor Road reconstruction, Bayview Bridge rehab, and the traffic impacts. They're going to be coming through the city of Sturgeon Bay on the detour, pretty much the way it was last time around. Our Senator Frank Lassay is not as happy about it. but I don't know that he's made any efforts or any headway in either putting the roundabouts on hold or to amend the route. But it's coming, folks, and it's coming in March, so be prepared.
If he delayed it, the worst-case scenario is we'd have this outage twice, because the bridge still has to be redecked.
Yeah.
So then we'd live through the bridge for 6 months, and then in a couple of years, they'd do the roundabouts, and we'd have another 6 months.
Right.
Or 4 months, whatever. Okay.
Well, they're laying it all out now so that it's all done at one time. And that's as much as I know. We're taking care of the Mike Carr situation, intergovernmental agreement with both County of Door and the new electronic voting machines. Linda, you want to handle that?
All of the Door County municipalities do have their new voting machines. It's an optical scan unit, very similar to what we were currently using, except it's slightly larger. We will no longer have the touchscreen machine, just the optical scan. So we will be having some training on that before the next election, which will be February of 2016. The county is requesting that each of the town boards and/or village board of trustees do approve this intergovernmental agreement for the, as far as the county's responsibilities and the town's responsibilities, who is responsible for what when it comes to maintenance, programming, et cetera. I've also notified our insurance company to add this machine to our list of covered property, so I believe we're good to go.
Okay.
I would think before we sign this agreement, we should have somebody proofread it.
You wanted to volunteer for that?
Well, I already did.
No. How many errors did you find?
1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4.
I did not prepare that.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
I think this came from the County of Door through the Corporation Council. You want to note your errors and send it back?
If you want, on page 2, E, paragraph E, about mid-sentence, provisions for his agreement. I believe that should be this agreement. Paragraph G, second line, near the very end, through at least the 2022, I believe there should be the word year in front of that. Paragraph C under Article 3. Second line, they have an additional "and," which is unneeded. On page 3, the top paragraph, which will be continuation of E, the last line, again, it's provisions for his paragraph. I believe it should be this. Those are the ones that I found. So.
Linda is the,
I will send you my attorney bill.
I will not pay it. You're going to make those corrections and, or circle those corrections?
Can I just pencil them in and initial them?
Sure. You're going to sign it anyway, so that's all right.
Maybe
It's already signed.
Sorry, yeah.
I know, but it hasn't been returned. Okay, with those corrections, then we will approve the intergovernmental agreement, correct? I need a motion, though.
I'll move that we approve the intergovernmental agreement with corrections.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thought I only had 2. I was sure there were 5 members on this board. Cable Program Director, Independent Contractor, and Videographer Agreements. This is a renewal with some changes. Chuck, you're the we'll go on this one.
Well, the contracts have been brought up to date, a few legal jargon were added. Other than that, they're basically the same. They will be a one-year agreement. The budgeted funding payments have been added into the new contract. This agreement will take effect January 1st of 16, remain in effect through December 31 of 16. They have both been signed and sealed with the approval of the videographer and the cable committee. Well, everything is in order.
Okay, make a motion then to approve the contract.
So moved.
I'll second.
Question? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk Treasurer Employment Agreement, contrary to popular belief, we're gonna have a clerk treasurer for a little while longer.
A little while longer, yes.
Is this a 4-year contract?
This is a 10-year contract.
Oh, okay, we'll take that.
So moved.
I'll second the motion, and the attachments reflect everything that we have already accomplished with the salary range budgeted for, and it has a 30-day out. On 30-day notice either way, so. We welcome Linda to stay a little while longer, although she did want to pull the pin in the last day of December. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Now, was that the 10-year motion that I approved?
The contract is for 1 year.
Okay. I thought I heard 10.
With the option of going out within 30-day notice.
The next item would be the 2016 meeting schedule, a draft. And it doesn't appear as if there's going to be a March meeting. And that'll fit in with everybody's want to be on vacation. We had penciled in June 20, is that correct?
Monday, June 20th. I would call your attention, we've normally had, conducted the border review in the afternoon and our regular board meeting in the evening. Last year, we did the board meeting right after the border review. So the date for the 2016 border review, June 27th, that is firm. Do you wish to have the board meeting on that same evening or on the week before, June 20th, and just have the border review stand alone? That's my question.
Sir,
The Board of Review, that has to be on that date?
Right, it was in the tax insert, and
Oh,
I've
okay.
also, I have it set up with our attorney and with our assessor, so
I
June
think I-
27th is a firm date at 1 PM.
I think I'd do the same thing that we did this year. I didn't think it caused any heartburn, unless it does for Tony or,
Well, if you want to do it immediately after 3 o'clock, that's okay with us too.
right.
We
That'll
thought
work
we'd
for
give you
me.
the out.
The November 21 meeting and the special town board meeting, public, or budget public hearing on the November 21. November 21 is a bad day.
This is just a draft, it's
Does it have
subject to
anything to
change.
do with deer season?
It's subject
Sure
to
does.
change, so.
And 2 of the board members, maybe 3 are gone at that point, so.
I forgot my calendar.
Well, actually, it was nice coming back after 5 days north, wasn't taking the showers.
No.
So the 11th.
All right, we'll bring it back next month and just make sure that you're, have your dates that you might.
Are you-
Also, the
So what
road
do we do with-
inspection
Are you
thing.
thinking later, Chuck? Because I'll be gone the week before, the 11th, or the weekend then. Is that what you're thinking, of moving
You
it
could
back?
move it up to the 14th,
That's the week he's gone,
I'll
right?
be gone that week.
or drop it down to the 28th.
It's fine with me, but just so we're looking at maybe a potential date, so maybe the 28th?
Or have it midweek. Everybody will have their buck opening money.
That don't solve the problem.
Our tax bill information, we seem to be getting it earlier and earlier every fall. Like, for instance, our tax bills went out on December 1st. So November 28th is fine, but, you know, we're getting close to the end of the month and we had it on the 23rd this year.
Okay, we'll bring it back for next month then. Bring your wishes with.
It's not that far to drive.
So did we move the June meeting to the 27th then?
I think I think it's tentative, subject to next month, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll wait for everyone's,
double check
Input on
everyone's
that
calendar,
27th.
and then maybe move it together. Okay.
local road and, local room tax summary of changes. Chuck Dice.
You want the report and everything all at once here?
Go ahead.
For 2015, our October collections of tax in the town were $31,834. The municipal allocation is $9,673.25. Tax collections by month for 2015 were January, 5,182, February was 6,017, March, 6,337, April, 7,448. May jumped up to 15,957. June was 37,215. July, 61,466. August is 63,149. September, 35,040. October at 31,834. November and December aren't in yet. But total to date of October was $275,656 collected. The town's 30% share was $82,697 at that point. So we're hitting close to the $300,000 collection mark, which will award us one more member on the commission once we get to 300,000. Our projected collections for 2015 were $4,015,129. We put a 3% increase for the projection for 2016, we're looking at $4,135,583. You know, if you take the collections by month, January is only 1.5%, February is 1.75, March is 1.61, April went to 1.63, May it jumped up to 5.8, June was 11.9, July was the highest month at 23.15% of the tax collected. August was 22.8, September drops down to 13.95, October 12.79, and November is 2.01. December is 1.3.
So we,
The majority of everything comes in July and August.
so we keep 30% of that.
We keep 30%.
What do they do
of-
with the other 70%?
The commission collects the tax, they put 30% toward the, according to statute, 30% goes to the municipality. The commission keeps 4% for administrative purposes, and the remainder goes to the Door County Visitors Bureau, who in turn has to spend a minimum of 51% of that money on tourism promotion
And what do they,
tourism development.
what does the town of Sevastopol get out of tourism promotion? That's what I'm wondering. We don't have.
The town of Sevastopol cannot be picked out by itself. No business in particular can be separated out and advertised. The Bureau has to do the zone, and the zone is the entire county. So the county is the destination. The Tourism Bureau can only promote the county as a whole.
And we don't have a choice in how much.
Individuals can still join on and do cooperative advertising through the Door County Visitor Center, in which they can promote their own business or their own town or community, or, you know, like a pumpkin patch festival or whatever it may be. But that is, somebody has to pick up the tab on that one, and either it's the municipality through their 30% funding, or a business association, or somebody like that, or the private businesses.
Really? That sounds kind of crazy to me, because if they're pulling 70% of our funds, any businesses in our town, they should advertise for them. It's almost like double billing,
It's,
correct?
it's the way the statute is, though. The commission formed a zone, and everybody joined into that zone through our intergovernmental agreement. And we all agreed that
We
you
probably should have
promote
looked
the
at that before we
county
agreed.
as a whole. No individual business, no individual town or municipality.
Did Obama set that up?
No, this was well before him.
Chuck, I have a question for you. On the 4% that the commission, that's given back for administrative costs, that's obviously gone up year by year as our revenue, as the tourism increases. Are they using the 4%? Are they growing? In other words, are they just growing into the 4% every year?
The commission has to put together a budget, just like anybody else puts a budget together. You got employee expense, you got licenses,
Right.
auditors, you name it. And the budget is put together. If the 4% is greater than what is needed, it is put into a reserve fund. And when it builds up to the point, now, one thing you have to understand is the way the tax is collected. You don't get much in January through March, you don't get a lot in the end of the year, it all comes in the middle. So we set a reserve fund aside so that we can operate throughout the year. We got extra money in the middle of the year, we put it aside, that carries us through the fall and the spring of next year. But should there be any extra funding, when the fund builds up to a certain point, it's set up between the bookkeepers, and when they decide we have more than enough, we turn that money over to the Door County Visitor Center, and they use it in the promotion again. So there may be something they couldn't do in their budget because they didn't have enough money, but if they get these extra funds, they can go ahead and make that extra move. So it works like that.
Okay.
Wisconsin Department of Revenue, in the tax bulletin, a homeowner and an individual providing short-term lodging is now required to get a tax permit and collect all the taxes in the state sales tax. And it also mentions that should there be a local county tax or room tax or any other type of tax that's there, they have to collect those taxes and turn them over to the authorities. So that is in the Wisconsin Tax Bulletin 191 from October 2015. A lot of people thought they could, you know, I'm not using the place this month, I'll rent it out, collect some money, help pay my property tax. Well, they can't do that anymore without that. They will have to get a room tax permit, they will have to get a Wisconsin sales tax permit. as we go deeper into the statutes, the town or the municipality cannot prevent somebody from renting out a room any longer. In the city of Sturgeon Bay, they had zoning requiring you cannot rent rooms out in this area, you gotta be over in that area to do it, and so forth. The state steps in now and says that the municipality cannot prevent people from renting out a room for less than 30 days. They can prevent them from turning it into a hotel or a motel or a bed and breakfast. They can't stop. So, just one more thing. The tourism sections in the statute had a lot of changes due to Act 55, which was the budget, a sneaky backdoor way of getting things done. One of the biggest things was the problem with the tourism entity. It had to be a nonprofit organization. It had to exist before January 1 of 1992. They did make a change there that if there was no entity in 1992 and there is no entity today and you form a commission or a tax zone, you can have somebody create that position, and then you'd have your, like a Chamber of Commerce or somebody. They do still have some regulations, nonprofit, so forth. But one of the biggest provision was in the filing, the municipality at the end of the year is going to have to file a report. Anybody that collected the room tax will have to file the report and let the state know how much was collected, where the money went, what it was used for, and who used it. So in our case, we are the municipality, but we don't collect the tax. We delegated that authority to the tax commission. They collect the tax, they keep all the records. So the commission has to file a report to the municipality, which they do on an annual basis. A new kick to that is the tourism entity, which is going to be the Door County Visitors Bureau, will also have to file a new report to the municipality. Those reports will tell us how much tax was collected by the commission and what the commission did with it. They also want to know who's on the commission. Every member of the commission will have to be listed, and anyone that has a business will have to, the business will have to be listed. So it's going to be an awful lot of paper just to get a little bit of information. But then when the Visitors Bureau files their forms, they received X amount of dollars from the commission and what they did with it, how they spent that money, and all the members on their board, and all their businesses that they own. And a new thing to the Visitors Bureau is that every municipality that pays a tax dollar to them has to have a member on the board. So we're going to see a shakeup, I believe, in the representation on the board of directors of the Door County Visitors Bureau, if they have to put a member from each community on that board. Right now, they don't have that. They have several from one and none from others. But in the end, we will collect these reports, and then we will have to transfer all that data onto a report and send it into the state. And they are talking about a penalty if we do not file, and I believe it said it would be upwards of $3,000.
Yeah, I just read that here.
There's going to be a lot of paperwork involved for the little bit of change that they are actually going to get. But current
Okay.
law and the prior law that provides that the commission must report to the municipality. And the new law is going to specify that the tourism entity must make the annual report also, and then the municipality must make a report.
Good share that information was part of the handout. The local room tax, Department of Revenue.
If anybody's interested in more, the information you have in your packet is only a brief summary. If you'd like more, there are pages and pages of it.
Okay.
Chuck, you said if we go over the $300,000 mark, that we get another, is it a full voting member on the board?
It'd be another member on the board,
But
correct?
don't you have some that don't vote? Or do you have, is that something
Now,
else?
every commissioner has a vote.
So we would get another commissioner?
We would get another one. So we'd have 2 votes. Right now, we're at 1. It's set up, I had the information here somewhere that,
How many commissioners do we have right now? How many towns?
well, we have all 19 town, or municipalities in the county are members of the commission. 2 of them
14, 3, and 1, right?
2 of them opted out of sending a representative, which they can do. They don't have any tourism entities in their municipality. They don't get any tax collection. So they felt it was not necessary to send a rep. Along with that, there are 2, what they call at-large members who are supposed to be business owners. So, and then it's broken down that if you collect I believe it's 0 to 300,000, it's 1 member, 300 to 500,000 is 2, and 500,000 to over $1 million, you get 3 representatives. So the village of Sister Bay, I believe it is, Egg Harbor, and Sturgeon Bay, I think it would each have 2 members. So,
All right, very good, thanks. In my haste to make waste, I guess I passed up the engagement letter with the Schenck Incorporated for the 2015 audit and the financial statement. And Linda, have they been doing it regularly, or they just come back again?
I didn't even see it.
Well, every year we do receive the request to engage them as our auditor, and I am pleased to work with them, and apparently they are pleased to work with us. I don't expect any big change from what, in the cost from what we have been paying them from last year, but we should have a formal motion to accept them to perform our auditing services for this past year, 2015. As a side note, Mike Konecki, who we have been working with for many years, will be retiring in 2016, and we have a new person assigned. I don't have his name in front of me right now. And then also the one that comes to do the actual audit work, I know one of those employees are leaving as well. So apparently they're having some changeover, but I'm hoping that they'll do as good a job as they always have for us.
So the gal that does it, that comes in?
Maureen, she is no longer with the company. It will be somebody new.
Well, the rats, if everybody's getting off the ship, maybe we should.
They're very thorough. I mean, they do come and they spend one entire day going through all of our records. And as I've said before, we have to account for every single penny, and it's there, so.
Looking through the entire thing, I don't see a dollar amount.
No, this is,
So
Just-
what are we approving by having it before us tonight?
I think it's in our
We're
budget.
contracting with them to do the audit.
No. All right, I need a motion to that effect.
I'll move to approve the contract with Schenck for 2016.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Safe Built Wisconsin. Brett Timmy, I'll bet you thought I was never gonna get to you. Give you a quick history. The name has changed from Independent Inspections, correct me if I'm wrong here, to Safe Built Wisconsin, LLC. We, Chuck and I and Linda met with Brett and DA,
Maddox.
who's last name?
Maddox.
Last week, and it was a very informative meeting, everything went very well. So they're back to do the contractor service again, and it would go, it's kind of unusual, it goes in February? What is the date?
I believe that's when the contract.
February 1st through January 31st.
Okay. And as well, Exhibit C indicated the charges, and the other is the list of services that they do. And they can also expand their services as well if we needed to do that. So Brett, I'll give you a couple of minutes here, but
Sure. Yeah, the contract agreement has just been modified for the change in name. The fee schedule remains the same as last year, which was the same as the year before. We still have all our Wisconsin inspectors intact. None of that has changed. We still service this community as well as 11 other communities in Door County with 5 inspectors, 2 full-time and 3 part-time inspectors. And all of them are fully certified to do 1 and 2 family homes, and we've got a handful then that do the commercial inspections also. So in the beginning of the year, our president, Tom DeLacy, decided to retire, and that was why there was a change in ownership, and he found another inspection agency called Safe Built that he sold the company to. So the company's has put in some infrastructure changes with new inspection vehicles and with new computers for tracking inspections on a daily basis, where we were doing it on paper before, but other than that, all the procedures and personnel have all, remained the same for your community and throughout Door County. Any questions?
The new company did agree to follow the old fee schedule that was set by Independent, at least for the time being. We were warned that in the future that may increase, but everything does.
And the fees are pretty much standard throughout all the communities in Door County. There's none that are, substantially up or down more than maybe a penny per square foot
Okay.
charge.
One thing that was brought up was your promotion. Does that mean you will not be doing the inspections now, or
No, it just means I have more work to do.
you just have more duties?
Yeah.
more responsibility.
I have a question that doesn't, I guess, relate specifically to the contract, but in your travels throughout town, do you find a lot of new construction that hasn't been permitted? I mean, I travel around and quite frankly, I'm sometimes very surprised by the buildings or additions or structures that just pop up out of nowhere. Do you find-
Usually not the new construction,
Not a
anything
home,
that's of an addition type, because the county has to zone those, and we get a list of the county permits that are issued each month, and then we we check through those, and if somebody hasn't come to us after usually about a month, 2 months, we send them a letter, just informing them that, you know, inspections and permits are required per that municipality. Remodelings, you know, those always can kind of happen under the outlook of people, because you got a lot of houses stuck way back off the road, and I'm not, you know, I'm sure there's still some of that goes on, but most contractors are pretty good about coming forward and taking permits on it, so.
Do you work in reverse? If you discover a garage, for example, that came up, do you then inform the county if it's?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. We're working with that all the time, sending people to the county for various things when they come to us first.
Okay.
So we
Just
haven't had
curious.
a problem or complaint with any of that.
Thank you.
You're gonna have a nice emblem on the side of your new white car now too?
I will. It's in the back seat right now. I have to get my squeegee out.
Oh, very good. A lot of good comments about your, the group and the work that you're doing for us. And we did pass that on to DA. Before you then is the contract, we can do it now. To approve it through,
Need a motion?
yeah,
I'll make a motion
12
that we
months.
approve professional service agreement between the town of Sevastopol and Safe Built Wisconsin LLC, which will be our building inspector.
I'll second that.
What's the date? February 1 through January 31? Yes? No? Waiting on Linda here.
Oh, I believe it's February 1st, 2016 through January 31st, 2017, and I am trying to
I was trying to find it.
find that. I'm sure it's in here. The term, perhaps it's not spelled out.
Just says 12 months
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't state an effective date.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried.
Says the agreement shall be effective on the last date on which the agreement is fully executed by both parties. So whenever it's signed, that's its effective date.
Sign it February 1st just to make it right.
Yeah. Approval of vouchers, bills, claims, November 24, 2015, December 21. Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by John, seconded by Chuck. Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinances and resolution first is the appointment of election officials. Here, the resolution places in nomination the people that you see on page number 2 for the Republican Party, I believe. Need a motion to approve.
Move to approve resolution 06-2015 TB, the appointment of election officials as per the list presented.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and it's carried.
The Democrats never submit anything?
They did not submit a list, no.
I don't think they ever have they?
Pardon?
I don't think they ever have.
It's been 2 or 3 years since they've submitted a list.
And see, I turned the page and thought my wife's name was on there until I read it myself. So, wow, I had no idea.
She's a Democrat.
Yeah, I had no idea.
All right, the next item then is the ordinance. Driveway ordinance draft town of Forestville. We're trying to get something that would give us all about the same, rather than if you go from one town to another and you find that there are quite a few variances. So take this along, review it. If you have a problem with any of that, we'll refine it. It'll probably be something that we work on for the month of May as we do our road inspection, and then we'll bring it back to the board.
Linda, did you get other responses from other communities on this?
There are very few. There's only Forestville and maybe Egg Harbor,
Egg Harbor is working on theirs.
and we're kind of all into progress.
Okay. Maybe we can share Randy's time.
Why would you do that?
Just kidding.
Correspondence is next, the Sturgeon Bay Fire Department for the month of October. Lake gas customers and FYI. This one is very interesting, the next one.
DNR.
DNR said, inform you that the grant for the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program has been tentatively awarded to support the acquisition of one parcel in the town of Sevastopol by the Nature Conservancy. So Linda sent a note and said that could you please have some details, perhaps a parcel number, location, or an owner? And it says, unfortunately, this is a signed purchase agreement between the land trust and the seller, so I'm not able to provide any other information. The department is legally bound to inform you of the tentative award and maintain confidentiality.
So why would they bother to inform us?
Well, that was gonna be our question as well.
Well, I thought it was rather strange because they are more or less soliciting a resolution either in favor of or against, but don't tell us where.
Let's say we're
Well, how are they
against
gonna
it.
get a resolution or anything?
We can't be
I know.
against it. Doesn't make any difference, they're
Yeah.
gonna do it anyway.
I know, but we should at least respond and say we're against it because we don't know who it is.
Yeah. Well, make that motion.
They don't want us to know, Dan, we can't hunt on it then.
That's true.
But they did tell you it's 32 acres.
Tell us.
Would you go through the plat book until you find 32 acres?
Yeah. Do that Christmas Day, you know, ain't better than.
Well, I think it would be in our interest to send them a letter or a resolution stating that we don't agree with it until we find out where it is and who it is.
There you go.
And the town is losing considerable land. It's going off the tax rolls.
So the Cody.
And,
Is this yours, Dick?
Well, it says we can adopt, says we can adopt.
Just thought maybe there might be a relationship there. You're here, he is
Do
here.
we know where it is? I think you're right,
Just send him a note back and say we disapprove.
yeah.
Well, it
Well,
wasn't
I
here
could-
for an item actions.
I did not contact Michelle, so I could call Michelle and bring it back next month.
All right, we'll put it back out for
I
now.
don't see how we can approve it or disapprove it without knowing. I mean,
Well, they're asking us for our support. so
well, we're not gonna support it, if we don't know what it is or where it is.
This could be your house.
I don't have 32 acres. A little short.
Other information, the office will be closed on the 24, 25 of December, the 31 and January 1st.
Where's he reading?
And office will again be closed January 2023, so the grandmother can go babysit lacrosse. And next board meeting be January 18th, 7 o'clock in the evening. Do we have any items for the board? I've been contacted by residents wanting us to look into the possibility of establishing an ordinance that would restrict the shining of deer. Apparently, it's an item that can be accomplished. According to the DNR game ordinance, and it can be more restrictive than what the state statutes are. And because I don't know what they are,
The 10 o'clock. State statutes have to quit shining at 10 o'clock, 10 PM.
so I guess we could say that with no
I
way,
don't care.
no way can you go shining at night on the corner of Mathey and Whitefish.
There you go.
You know,
Should write an ordinance so they have to do it during the day.
You gotta shine during the day.
I talked to this individual, I just happened to run into him at, in town,
Yep.
and he didn't know me, and I didn't know him until all of it came together. And he told me the story about the horses and shining and all the rest of the stuff, but I mean, I said to him, you're welcome to come to the meeting, but I said, unless, we don't have anybody to enforce it. So I said, we can approve it if everybody agreed, but there's no enforcement, so it's not
They're gonna
really gonna
call.
do any good.
Yeah.
So, but maybe that's why he's not here tonight, because I thought he was gonna be here this evening to talk about it, so.
Well, apparently it's the disrupting of the horses that
Right.
he has a problem with. So, all right, we'll put it down for something in the future. Any other items? Otherwise, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Third. Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Oh, Santa, when your
everybody-
went up with it.